Great teams are forged through talent and grit, yet the trophy can still slip through their fingers. For DC Shadow, the path to the top was carved through gut-wrenching loss. In 2023, they fell to the Raleigh Radiants in the semifinals. In 2024, they came within reach of a title, only to be stopped by the New York Gridlock in the finals. Close enough to taste it, not close enough to claim it. DC didn't scatter, they didn't falter, they stayed focused. In 2025, the DC Shadow didn't chase the standard, they set it. An undefeated season from start to finish with the largest point differential in the league at plus 63. And when the postseason arrived, the past came calling. First, the New York Gridlock, the defending champs that ended DC's run a year ago. This time, the Shadow dominated with a 22-14 victory, ending New York's hope for a repeat and punching their ticket to the finals. A champion showdown against their fierce rivals, the Raleigh Radiants. This time, the Shadow would not be denied, nearly defeating their arch-nemesis 18-17. Unbroken, undefeated, the DC Shadow were PUL champions at last. This season, both teams have resumed their winning ways. The Gridlock started their 2026 campaign with a grinder versus Minnesota, getting the home win 11-7. While the Shadow emerged victorious on the road with a comfortable 21-17 win over the Raleigh Radiants and a windy 15-10 battle over the Austin Torch. Live in the district, the defending PUL champions, the DC Shadow, host the 2024 champions, the New York Gridlock. And it starts now.
Welcome to Carlini Field in Washington, D.C. We've got an exciting matchup tonight. Here, I'm Alex Turney with Ariel Vogel. We're looking at a fun game between the DC Shadow and the New York Gridlock. DC Shadow is coming out looking to stay flexible given the rainy elements that we're encountering tonight. Their coaches emphasize the need for their rookies and practice players to keep up the intensity and the energy, and hoping that a strong crowd can help them to hold on to a home field advantage. Sending it over to Ariel to talk about the New York Gridlock.
Hi, yeah, we got the New York Gridlock warming up behind us. They're coming off of a bus ride here, but they landed around 4:45, so they've had plenty of time to shake off their travel legs. They're feeling really excited about the matchup tonight. They love facing off against the DC Shadow. Talking to Coach Brittany Taylor before the game about the loss of Jenny DeJesus coming off of an injury, so she's going to be on the sidelines tonight, and Ellie Young's not coming back this year. They're really excited to be able to utilize the depth of their roster, really excited about new faces. Sadie Jazerski obviously bringing a huge impact. They think they're going to match up well tonight. Excited about the rain, better than the wind they had last weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Ariel. Now let's take a look at the key players for tonight's game.
Here we have Kira Flores, big player for tonight's game. She's currently leading the PUL in assists over 2 games so far this season with 9 assists. Tonight, given the incredibly wet conditions and some wind that's been coming in out of the area, we'll look for Flores to have a big game with a lot of touches around the disc for the DC O-line to keep her engaged and keep the offense flowing.
On the New York side are Kira Flores running a lot of assists, as always. Of course, had a huge impact in 2025, coming back this year and stepping into an even larger role on both sides of the disc. She'll always get the disc back. She's a grinder. We're excited to see more from her tonight. Abby Hecko here for the New York Gridlock. In her second year on the team, stepping up into a larger role, they moved her to the offensive line this year, and in her first game, she already put up 2 goals, 1 assist, and 2 blocks. Again, expecting the rainy conditions, she's going to be able to keep the disc in the offense's hands, and if there are turns, she'll be getting it back for them. Before the PUL, she was playing in the Western Ultimate League, so she is stepping into her role in the Premier Ultimate League, and we're really excited to see more from her tonight.
This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Breakmark Ultimate Apparel. Go to breakmark.com to place your next custom team order or check out the PUL Athlete Collab shops. The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Premier Ultimate League. The PUL is a 501c6 nonprofit. This league has been community funded since day one, and we are so grateful for the support. We ask that you consider donating to help us continue to transform and fulfill our mission. Head to premierultimateleague.com to donate today. Today's coverage is brought to you by Eric Fofolia, realtor with Strong Foundations Group. If you're buying or selling in the DMV area this year, Eric focuses on helping clients make confident, well-informed decisions. We're looking at an exciting moment for tonight. It looks like the rain has abated for the moment. The teams are just getting lined up, getting some big introductions. The fans have come out in full force despite the initial adverse climate conditions. Looking to be a really exciting moment tonight.
We heard from the DC coaches that college student Lily Johnson, a DC Shadow rookie this year, should have a huge support group in the stands. Shout out to those college girls supporting their teammate. She's also the Callahan nominee, so go vote Lily Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. Very exciting Callahan nominee video from the American University student, having a great collegiate season and continuing it over here in the PUL. Looking for her to have another big game on the O-line as she's been having throughout the season so far.
Looks like they're out. We're going to have Gridlock in white tonight, DC in their home darks. These are new uniforms this year from last year for the DC Shadow, settling into a nice purple, looking cute tonight. We're pretty excited to see these girls out on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. We can already see over on the DC sideline the amount of practice players and additional support staff they have over there trying to keep the energy high along with this crowd, as the coaches mentioned in the pregame. It's going to be really important to keep the enthusiasm up in some tougher conditions that may come in out of the game as we see what the weather holds for us for the rest of the night.
Seems like the small amount of wind that was popping up earlier has faded, so hopefully they only have to face up against one weather condition tonight, ideally. I know they both had very windy games last weekend in Austin,
yeah,
and New York, so all parts of the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely was a big factor in the DC game in Austin previously, and a lot of turnovers in that game, and led to some long points for the O-line, which we'll hope for this week. The coaches talked about being more efficient with the disc.
So it looks like we got the captains doing the flip with the observers, a little check-in with the observers. The observers in the PUL function very similarly to how they do in club ultimate frisbee in college. So they don't make as many active calls, just the in-out calls, up-down, but they will leave it up to the players to make calls and talk through potential fouls, and try to come to resolutions themselves without referee help. We're getting into our huddles.
Perfect, and we'll send it out to a commercial here.
We have Brittany Taylor, coach of the New York Gridlock, here on the sideline, clipboard in hand. Looks like New York is coming out on defense. Got a big pull coming.
Yeah, looks like Pressburg on the pull here. Again, here comes the pull, and we're off.
Big long pull from Pressburg here. We got DC's offense. Smalling picking up the disc.
Looking upfield, not a lot of options. There we go. Finds Ritzman up the field. Ritzman gets it back to Smalling. Over to Tyler Smith.
Oh, and we have lights on the
Very
field.
Exciting. DC working in the backfield. This opening point. Back to Smalling.
New York doing a really good job of pressuring all of the unders and sort of smothering the DC offensive flow here.
Getting our first touch here for Kira Flores. Back over to Smalling.
Seems like the handlers are doing a lot of movement here for the DC O-line, which is exciting. We know those are some big players for this team.
Great break around from Flores. Gets it up to Ritzman. Ritzman gets it up to Wallace, sends it deep. Oh, just out of reach of Johnson, the back of the end zone line. DC with an early turnover going into their own goal. Can be an early break chance for the New York Gridlock.
Yeah, and that really encapsulated the defense there, I think, from New York. They forced them into a long shot when that was clearly what they wanted that offense to do.
We got Brown picking up, sends it back to Pressburg. New York in their own end zone. Finds it around to Jezierski, big pump fake. Jezierski sends it back to Pressburg in the middle of the field.
DC not letting anything easy off.
Big layout attempt there from Johnson. Unsuccessful. Gets it to Shaw. Continues it down the field to Bantarayan. Bantarayan trapped on the sideline. Wow!
Great layout from Jezierski there, already making an impact.
Swings it far around the side. Oh! Bobbled by Pressburg after a big floating shot from Jezierski. Tyler Smith picks it up quickly, gets it to Flores. Flores surveying with no mark. Back to Tyler Smith.
We got Ritzman really being the active downfield movement for DC to help out the handlers. Really good presence from her tonight.
Smith swings it around to Flores. Finds Julia Harris on the goal line. Slashing across. That's a nice hold for DC, a little bit of a dirty hold, but Smalling gets the first score of the game with an assist by Julia Harris.
Yeah, really good plays for both teams on that point. Seeing a crazy layout here from Jezierski to maintain possession for New York in their break attempt. Then Julia Harris cleaning it up, closing it out for DC. 1 point on the board.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the connectedness of the handlers and DC being really forced to work through the handlers and potentially these damp conditions for making those longer throws a little bit more challenging and disconnecting the cutters in a small way, and I think New York seemed to be taking advantage of that.
Yeah, we're looking at our handlers now doing check-ins, Flores and Smalling. Smalling went almost every other in the first possession for DC there, really running the offense.
And Smalling really continuing where she was from last season as second on the Shadow last year in goals in the 2025 season, is already off to a great start this season, but continuing to be a leading goal scorer. And here comes DC with the pull. Romero Pena sends it downfield. And here comes the New York O-line. Krebs picks up, sends it over to Connerly.
Yeah, we got Gina Cartagena. Apologies. Taking shots, not quite completed.
DC gets their first chance for a break opportunity. Jesso picks it up on the near sideline, looking for options. Nice continue down the field to Mueller.
Mueller in her second year with the DC Shadow had a good impact on defense last year.
Long shot to Gentilette. Toes the line in the end zone. That's a break for DC Shadow. An early break to take a 2-0 lead.
Beautiful shot to, I think, probably the biggest deep threat. Captain Jess Sourbeer taking that shot. And I know New York had talked before the game. I know Gentilette is, they're aware of her presence. She is a threat for them, and that's something they're going to not want. Don't want to give her that much space in the deep end zone there.
Yeah, absolutely. DC doing a great job of putting some early pressure on the mark and then taking advantage with a quick 1-2 punch after the turn. And again, Sourbeer finding Gentilette for the early break, the first break of the game. DC taking a 2-0 lead to start things off here on their home field.
And hopefully with the drier conditions, we'll get to see more deep shots. I know those are always fun for the crowd and for us in the booth. Another pull coming from DC now. Looks like they have a new D-line out, so we get to see some new faces.
Looks like Dio Campo here, going to send off the pole.
It's the same New York O-line.
Connerly gets it up to Cartagena.
Oh, DC throwing a little bit of a junky D here, but Jolie Greb sneaks through. She's good at that.
Crafty little throw from Krebs to get it up to Jezierski, who's already crossed over onto this O-line.
Back to Krebs. Ooh. Sneaky little move there from Cartagena. Back over to Connerly.
Connerly finds Poyer on the near side here. Oh, sends a reset to Krebs.
Oh. Second effort not successful, so they're back on DC with another break opportunity.
DC taking their time to get set up here. Looks like Jackie Wong picking up the disc.
Over to Sydney Rader. Surveying her options. Nice snag. Back to Jackie. Jackie, captain again this year for the DC Shadow.
Looks like there may have been a call in the backfield. I'm seeing
looks like a travel.
Some discussion when Jackie Wong had the disc. I think you may be right. Great call from Ariel.
I love observer hand signals.
Kind of exciting matchup here between Jackie Wong and Sage Jezierski. Jezierski had an incredible game last week against the Strike. I think had 4 blocks last week. And so defensive matchup that you love to have on your O-line in this situation to be able to get the disc back after you turn it.
Over to Emily Kiver. Oh, yeah. Sadie playing some lockdown D there.
Back to Jackie Wong. A lot of tight pressure.
That was a big break throw for them. Open up
That's over here to Korpinen. Korpinen sends it back to Wong.
Oh, exciting mark there. This matchup is fun.
Kiver rips it deep to Korpinen. Catches it just outside the end zone. DC on the goal line for another break opportunity. Wong to Korpinen. And that's a break. DC with their second break of the game. Oh, I take it back.
No. Here again. DC got to watch those toes. Doing some wandering. We'll find out where the travel was called.
I think it looks like it might have been on Jackie Wong's throw there on the goal line.
Okay, it was a travel call. The man in green says. So disc will be going back. The goal has not yet happened.
Tough action when you're really flowing so quickly towards the goal line and you get those kind of give and go fast break opportunities. Sometimes tricky to hold your feet on the wet turf.
Oh. Well.
And just like that, the break is renewed. And DC gets their second break of the game to take a 3-0 lead.
We love that when a call is made and you just do the same thing again. You know, worked one time, could work a second time.
And it was right back to Korpinen, who was really instrumental at that point. as the DC D-line offense was getting going, Corporan found some big windows to gain some big chunks of yards. And have to shout out a great deep throw by Emily Kiver to really open up the whole length of the field to put Corporan on the goal line.
Yeah, Kiver and Corporan playing both rally players, so they have that club chemistry, and we're seeing that come out here on the shadow field as well. That's now 2 breaks from DC that come off of Hucks. I think New York's going to want to adjust their O-line defense.
Okay, we're going to go in here and see if we can get into this huddle.
It's going to be easy. Let's get someone to the front that we know we can activate with, right? Similarly, like, we're getting some good dribbles, even when we're tired. Let's make sure we're talking about who's in the reset space and who's coming back. We had a couple where we didn't have someone 45 back towards the middle of the field, so let's just try to tighten that up a little bit. Yeah. The D is awesome, all right? Let's keep building.
This is the intensity we need right now.
Great.
Nice job. Great
D on
job.
3. 1, 2,
D!
D!
Great job, John.
That was John Egan, the former head coach and now assistant coach. I agree. Defense is looking great.
Yeah, here we go. All right. New York picks it up off the pole. Oh, my gosh. A flying defensive grab from Tenson, the practice player that they pulled up for today's game, already making their presence felt on the field. Sourbeer with an opportunity, sends Jess O up to the sideline, just outside the end zone. Another break for DC.
Wow, and a beautiful cut from Amanda Murphy. She is a quick one. You don't want to give her that front cone ever. And she found it once again. That is a 4-0 lead for DC. I think if I was New York, I'd be wanting to call a timeout and do some talking right now.
And just once again, great awareness from Tenson to go and see the space that Cartagena was looking to attack, anticipate, jump the lane early, and then get the fast break started. Once again, DC utilizing the fast break to, we're going to go into the gimbal here again and listen to this huddle if we can.
Don't overcommit to the fake and give up the free around. As long as you're already positioned there, trust that you've taken it away, get ready for them to pivot to that around and shift with them. That's going to be, if we keep those marks pressure on, they're going to keep missing like they just did there. Let's keep it rolling. On the turn, I'm fine if we want to pick up quick a little bit, go play. We have way more bodies than they do right now. Let's just keep running.
Hey, Shadow on 2, 1, 2!
And you can see DC coaching staff there really emphasizing what they talked about to us pregame of keeping the energy high, especially on the defensive side of the disc, wanting to do everything they can to keep the pressure up on New York, not let them have free passes in the front of this action. And especially you can see a lot of excitement and enthusiasm there from the DC sidelines and this big crew that they have on the side to help keep the energy high. The stands are loving it. The fans are having a great time here. Excited to see their hometown DC Shadow off to a relatively quick 4-0 lead after getting a hold in 3 breaks. If you're just joining us, DC really capitalizing on quick turnovers from the New York Gridlock team, being able to take some fast break runs, utilizing both some hucks and some small ball action to put New York's O-line on their heels. And here we go again. Diocampo sending the pull off.
Pull goes out of bounds, so we'll be walking that to the middle of the field. Looks like we got Cartagena picking up the disc.
Yeah, looks like a pretty standard offensive lineup for the Gridlock, coming out in what looks to be some kind of spaced out horizontal stack to counteract maybe some of the poaching that DC has been doing.
Yeah, I love this junk set. I think that it makes immediate options really, really tricky, and we're seeing that.
Connerly sends it deep, tailing away. Oh, can't quite find their intended receiver. Jackie Wong picking up the disc here on the far sideline. Not a lot of options. Wow. Strong grab by Diocampo, kind of diving across the front of the stack.
Oh, great find from her as well.
Crafty lefty backhand. Gets it up to Raider. Raider gets it to Kiver with a big fake for the deep shot.
Back over to Jackie Wong. Really running DC's defensive O-line, or offense. D-line offense. Oh, shoot.
Absolutely. And Raider sent it up the field to Diocampo. A little bit high, has to elevate, can't quite concentrate on the grab and towing the line. And to turn over back to the New York O-line, getting a chance here for Connerly to.
That is DC's D-line's first turnover of note. Kind of exciting for a 4-0 lead here, that they've been playing a nearly perfect game from their D-line.
Looks like we might have an injury called there from New York's Friedman, who was a player they were really excited about getting into the game for a rookie playing their first game of the season with the Gridlock, player that Coach Brittany Taylor was talking to us about. Looks like they'll bring Lamb on to fill that place, and the disc is back in.
Lamb with a number of goals for New York in their first game. Definitely not someone to underestimate.
Finds Krebs. Krebs with a tight inside to a bidding Hecko.
That's our spotlighted player. We're excited to see more from her. Haven't seen much from her in these first couple points. But not to be forgotten.
Wow.
Wow.
What a grab by Jolie Krebs in the backfield after a tough around look. Finds a nice inside up to Cartagena.
New York definitely finding their space.
Player with the disc here. Back to Krebs. Krebs sends it around to Cartagena. A lot of pressure on these unders from the DC defenders.
But New York doing a really excellent job of breaking the mark and finding that break side space, which makes DC's job that much harder downfield.
Krebs with the disc here, back kind of towards the middle of the field. Finds Cartagena up towards the center, looking for some options.
DC stifling the front of stack, cutting.
Lamb gets it under on the far side.
Oh, looks like we got a call. They're signaling foul. I assume it's on Jackie, no contest. Oh, uh-oh.
They have an injury call here as well. Jackie Wong coming off the field. Some of the contact may have shaken Jackie a little bit. Gets a chance for DC to get some fresh legs. We hope Jackie Wong can shake it off.
Got Jesso coming on to sub for her. This is now the second injury call of the point, one per side. Definitely showing that this game, though moving quickly, is still a grind.
Oh, Lamb sends it up the upline space to Krebs, but a little bit floaty, and Krebs can't track it down with the body of defenders in the way. DC picks it up quickly on their own goal line. Looking to advance. Floaty ball over the top. Can't quite find the potential intended receiver of Kikuchi, and New York with another chance. Cartagena finds Poyer on an under. Back to Cartagena on an upline. Cartagena switching the field to the middle of the field, and that's a goal from Lamb up to Grace Connerly. And that is New York's first score of the game. It's a hold, a hard-fought hold, but I know they're happy to see some numbers get on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. Not the prettiest point from DC, but they still had to work for it. As we can see, crazy layout grab from Julie Krebs. Wow, really impressive catch there. She is not going to let – she's showing that New York isn't going to roll over. This game isn't over just because the score was 4-0.
Absolutely.
Now they're on the board. So we have the New York D-line for the first time since the first point of the game coming out. A lot of crossover. That happens when you have a small squad on a travel team. We're seeing some of the same faces on both these lines.
Yeah, it looks like Pressburg has the disc to... Oh, I'm sorry. That's Harris. My apologies. Sam Harris with the disc, ready to send it away. DC standing in line, ready to receive. Looks to be the usual suspects on the offensive line for DC. And here comes the pull from Harris.
That was a beautiful pull, nearly at DC's end zone. And these fields are longer than club fields, so that was a 70-yard throw.
Absolutely. Looks to be a bit windy as objects have started to blow onto the field, but DC making some progress up on the far side of the field. Wallace finds Smalling in the reset space. Sends it upfield to McGuire. Tight pressure on the unders there.
That was a cat-to-cat connection. Beautiful upline from Sammy Smalling.
Around to Flores, back in the center of the field. Sends it over to Ritzman. Oh, strong run through block from New York. Looks like Pressburg had the block there. Immediately receives a long pass to take a quick advantage. DC guarding their own goal line, floats out to space. Cannot quite connect with Malin on that front cone of the end zone.
Of course they want to convert that opportunity, but having them trapped, having DC trapped in the front corner of their own end zone is an optimal place to be for a D-line.
Tyler Smith picking up for DC on their own end zone. Sends it around to Kira Flores. Stuck in the middle of the shadow end zone.
New York playing really good defense. Nothing easy coming from the downfield space.
And we'll note that the clock is running out here. Oh, so we have the last possession of the quarter until there's a turnover or a score. And there it is. That'll end the quarter after a strong block from New York there to close it out.
Pressburg disappointed that they don't get to possess the disc, but you know what? You stopped a score in the first quarter, so we'll take that.
Absolutely. Wow, so a strong fight from New York there to put some pressure on DC in the last 2 points of the first quarter.
An exciting. We're back with coming into the second quarter. We're going to pull up a trivia question for the people watching at home. As you can see, how many PUL finals appearances do the Shadow and Gridlock have combined? Keyword combined. This tricked me.
Wow. It's a tricky one. I mean, two very strong programs who have had some really strong recent success.
And I know that these teams have met in the semifinals a lot, which means at least one of them isn't making it to the finals. And the answer is 5. Obviously, 2024, they were both in the finals. In 2023 and 2025, it was just one of them. All right, and we're back with the game.
And here we go. DC coming out on defense to start the second quarter. Again, they're holding a 4-1 lead after getting 3 breaks in the first quarter after an opening score. Romero Pena pulls it off. Cartagena picks it up, gets it up to Carly. Some quick pressure.
Yeah, Romero Pena with the pull and also first down, almost gets that first throw point block.
Floaty throw tracked in by Hecko. Finds Krebs on a lofty around.
Yeah, New York looking more comfortable with this field.
Wow. A lot of dicey throws from New York so far, but they appear very comfortable, and DC putting some pressure on them early to start this quarter.
And that's something to be said for the, really excellent run through D there from Korpinen.
Yeah.
Announcer's curse, right? I was just going to say that they have a lot of trust in each other.
And Gentillette rips it deep, jump off the bat. We know DC loves their fast break. It's trailing out of bounds. Korpinen can't quite get there as it fades too far out of bounds.
That was caught by DC Shadow manager Scuba, so in some ways a completion. They'll be walking that back up the sideline. That was fading out of bounds for kind of a while. Not too much of a field loss for New York. Yeah,
looks like New York's saying get field here just about 30 yards outside of their own end zone. Connerly picks it up on the sideline. Finds Cartagena in the middle of the field.
DC's defense still sitting very under on the cutters, which is doing a great job of stopping anything easy. Disc in Abby Hecko's hands. Hoping to see her really get some movement here in front of the end zone.
Hecko finds Cartagena. Big pump fake. Draws a few defenders. Floaty throw. Oh!
Incredible layout D from Gentillette. She's getting that disc back after her throwaway.
What a block. The fans love to see it. The crowd is erupting. Everyone knows that Gentillette brings that kind of firepower and effort on the defensive end. That's what we love to see.
Call on the field. Want to shout out that nasty cut from Amanda Murphy. It had me convinced she was going deep and came back under for a huge gainer.
Wow, we can see the disc just floating a bit more, potentially intended for Poyer. But great D by Gentillette. Murphy here coming in on the sideline. Big pump fake. Krebs flies to the ground in an effort to hold the force. Gets it back to Gesso. Gesso sends it up to Romero Pena. Sends it deep for Gentillette.
Oh, beautiful toss.
Wow.
Right, no way to defend that. Right into her hands.
Gentillette to Amanda Murphy with a crafty little back edge grab for another DC break.
Those two are DC D-line staples. I've been playing a handful of years apiece. And wow, that layout block. DC is not going to make this easy on New York.
Wow, and a great deep ball, as Ariel mentioned, putting it in the place where only Gentillette could get it. Romero Pena with a great throw. And put a lot of work into her game and elevating her throws and getting open at will.
With two defenders chasing her, Gentillette knew she had to lock that one up. That's such a silly catch.
You think that Gentillette and Murphy have some fun playing together? Look at those two.
Yeah, I know those two have been making those throws and catches with each other for a while. Getting a peek into their huddle here. Those key players all in a row, Gentillette, Romero Pena, and Murphy on that break for DC.
Calling out Amanda Murphy already has 2 goals in this game of the 5 goals for DC, both on break opportunities. Really big moment, and here comes the pull back from DC. Sends a real lofty one.
And it stays on the field, so at least we're getting to keep them a little more on the sideline. But it's a short field for New York.
New York got some of their D-line faces out here. Brown sends it back over to Malin. Wow, big layout attempt from Tenson.
Shot. Oh, nice snag from Jezierski.
Jezierski sends it into the end zone.
Wow. That is a clean hold, and I think our first clean hold of the game from either team for DC. And that was Shaw, who almost got layout D'd and took advantage of it by taking off deep and then was able to reel in the goal.
And shout out to Shaw. This is a rookie, first game with the Gridlock. Big hands there. I know Coach Brittany Taylor was talking about how excited they were to get her into the lineup for this game and to unleash some of the athletic prowess and her big cutting ability to really stretch out the field. And when you have a thrower like Jezierski, you know that anywhere in the end zone is a viable option. There's Jezierski given away for the fans. already having a strong game for this D-line, trying to put some pressure back on the DC offense, particularly given the early lead that DC jumped out to, hoping to rally this New York D-line.
A goal apiece for these teams in the second quarter. New York still lost a break to start off, but they came back with a clean hold and hoping for their first break of the game here on this one.
We've got Sam Harris here, ready to send it off for the New York D-line.
Another long pull, seeing a lot of great pulls from Harris tonight.
Smalling centers it up to Tyler Smith. Flores isolated in space. Big pump fake from Tyler Smith. Good grab from McGuire on the far side. Tyler Smith gets the disc back. Guarded by Cassie Brown, who was just on the field, as were a lot of these D-line players from New York for that last offensive hold they got.
Smith and Smalling are very similar players, squirrely handlers, able to chunk those little up lines, and they're showing that tonight.
And a big under to Flores, lots of space. Oh, and there's Flores sending it. Seems to be a call of some kind.
DC getting unlucky with these.
Looks like a timeout was called.
So that goal is taken away from them again. Sorry, Julie Harris. Go get the stat back. That would have been DC's first clean hold. There's still the potential for it coming out of this timeout. I imagine they were just feeling some downfield stagnation and felt like they wanted to call a timeout, get the reset so that they could have the hold. We're within the huddle.
Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, who's where?
There we go. And there's Coach Maniloff looking
do
to.
you want to have to? No. Do you want to pick up?
And you can already hear the discussion of the DC players figuring out how are they going to come out of this timeout and be sure to capitalize. And looks like the disc is going to be coming back all the way to Tyler Smith before the under that Kira Flores picked up. So they'll be around midfield with Tyler Smith having the disc on the far sideline. DC coming out and kind of a long spread out vertical stack with Kira Flores looking to be the primary closest to the disc cutter at least.
We got Jezierski on Flores again. That's been the main matchup of the game, which makes isolating Flores a little tricky when you have the WUL Defensive Player of the Year from 2025 on your ISO.
Finds Smalling up the field after clearing out Flores. Back to Tyler Smith in the middle.
Front of stack cutting from DC, not getting hit a ton, but they got loose for one.
Flores looking up to the end zone. Great around throw from Flores to Lily Johnson. You can hear in the stadium the American University fans going crazy. They love to see one of their own having a big moment.
Yeah, let's get that crowd shot if we can. I know there's some signs. I love number 31, and that's her. Yeah, she's already made her presence known on this team, has played one game with DC and put up 3 goals and 2 assists. Nothing to sniff at. She's going to be a dynamic player for this team. And DC with a turnover of 10 players not coming back this year, those kinds of new faces are going to be super important for them as they integrate them into their flow on offense and defense.
Absolutely, and there we can see Lily Johnson's first goal of the game. Again, the fans love to see it. She's already had a great season so far in their 2 road games, but game to play back here in DC at Carlini Field, close to home, having all of the college teammates coming out to support has got to be a great moment. And there's Jess Sourbeer for the DC Shadow D-line sending the pull off.
New York slow to pick up. Romero Pena already got the mark set. Abby Hecko open. Bold choice.
Back to Krebs, back to Hecko. Looks to be a really handler-dominated action so far for the New York. Back to Cartagena in the backfield. Finds Krebs, still on the far side. Very disconnected space between the throwers and cutters for New York. A lot of work through the handler set. Krebs bet the disc again. finds Cartagena again on the near side of the field.
Krebs such a tricky thrower, really hard to set a mark, and when everything downfield is an option for her.
Connerly with the disc back to Krebs. Back to Connerly in the middle of the field.
And these teams, New York in particular, are setting up really negative in the reset space. Oh, nice. Great shot to Connerly through some traffic.
Connerly pointing out spaces where she wants cutters to attack. Finds Cartagena over on the near side here.
It was a little bit of a travel, but not called.
Cartagena always great with the strong pump fakes to really force defenders to respect options that she might want to draw them off of. Krebs back to Cartagena. Looks over to the near side, and there's Abby Hecko for the goal. That's a clean hold for New York Gridlock, and there's one of our pillar players of the game, Abby Hecko, finding the end zone after a nice assist from Cartagena.
Yeah, beautiful throw here from Krebs to open it up. The Oyo made famous by McDonald makes DC's end zone defense really tricky when that break side is just such an option. And Abby Hecko responds immediately when she sees that go up, sets up her break side cut for the goal. So New York with 2 clean holds in this quarter definitely have their sea legs shaken off. They're back in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. They've made the DC Shadow D-line work a lot harder in this half, haven't given them the opportunities to even fast break with some of the turns in the first quarter that came. They were a little bit looser with the disc, but this second quarter they've been much more deliberate, and it seems as though they've worked it through their handlers a lot more.
Got the classic DC O-line out here, hoping to get some more downfield movement than they have in the last couple points.
Dzierski sends off the pole. Tyler Smith catches. Snares it up to Flores. Oh! Dzierski with the block, but it looks like Flores is calling for a foul, and it appears to be uncontested, but exciting action there on the mark. Dzierski always putting pressure on any throw you're trying to get off.
Yeah, looks like she definitely caught some arm there. But, you know, outcome is still a lot of stopped movement. DC back on the go.
Here we're back to our handling tag team with Tyler Smith and Sammy Smallings. Tyler Smith finds Allie Wallace down the field. Great cut from Smith. Sends it deep. Julia Harris. Pressburg on the backside. Pressburg over the top. Julia Harris.
The second chance off the deflection. Harris sticks with it.
Wow. Pressburg with an impressive job to elevate and avoid body contact, making a safe play, but still getting a strong hand on the disc. But Julia Harris always tenacious in going after the disc, not going to let it go, trying to float out of bounds, but Julia Harris tracks it down.
Yeah, that's a beautiful D by Pressburg. And that's a beautiful catch from Harris. DC definitely, that's a trust throw. You know your receiver, you know that she's going to do anything she can to get to the disc. And she did.
Great awareness from Pressburg there. I think Julia Harris had beat her initial defender, and Pressburg peels off the back of the stack to put pressure on it and get a strong piece on that block. And Julia's already got a goal and an assist in this game, already putting up a strong stat sheet for the DC O-line as they try to keep extending this lead and give their D-line a chance to maybe put some more distance between themselves and New York.
Yeah, their O-line really playing a clean quarter here, not letting New York get a chance to get some breaks back. They're playing really clean.
Jackie Wong sends off the pole, slides into the New York side. Cartagena snares it up to Krebs. Hecko isolated in space, finds it back to Cartagena.
Once again, New York's downfield cutters. Low throw from Cartagena to Hecko. Couldn't quite reel it in. DC with another break opportunity. Not a lot of downfield movement.
Driver sends it around to Rader. Rader finds Korpinen. Downfield making some advancing movements.
Really patient offense from DC here.
Oh, off the hands of Wong on a kind of tight upline space. Cartagena with a big fake off the turn. finds Krebs going upfield.
More big fakes. New York doing a lot of fakes to the deep space and not throwing them. They're playing a conservative game here. Feels like the right call.
Cartagena finds Connerly. Connerly sends it deep to Hecko. Open in the end zone. That's a goal for New York.
Second goal for Abby Hecko. Again, new to O-line this year for New York, and making her presence known, particularly without goal scorers Jenny De Jesus and Youngst. She's stepping up into that space and getting New York their points.
Absolutely, and I mean, once again, a lot of the movement initiated in the backfield between Krebs and Cartagena, but finds Connerly, who's always willing to put a great throw out to space, and Hecko uses the speed to pull away and end up opening the end zone for a dirty hold for New York, but they're happy to get points on the board however they can and keep this game close.
And their D-line back out there, hoping to get that break that could get them their teeth in this game. Looks like they're in their huddle now. O-line talking about how they can maybe not turn the disc next time. But they're still getting their points, and that's what they need in this quarter. They need their O-line to put up the points that they can and give the D-line opportunities.
Absolutely. Here comes Sam Harris ripping another big pull, as Ariel's been saying. The distance on these pulls has really been an advantage. Lands inbounds, slides out of the sideline. Tyler Smith picks it up, centers over to Smalling.
Pulls are an essential part of defense. Huge shout out to Sam Harris for their pulls here tonight.
Back to Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith finds Allie Wallace in the middle of the field, a lot of space. Good hands by Tyler Smith.
Ritzman a grinder.
Finds Flores. Again, Flores drawing that Sage Jezierski matchup. Tricky to find a lot of space, but Flores always very quick-footed, able to find an opening. Finds Kat McGuire over here on the near side.
Beautiful fakes from Kat there to find that break side.
Up to Smalling. Okay, on the near side of the field, close to the end zone, looking for Tyler Smith at the front. Sends it instead over to Wallace towards the middle. On the goal line here for DC. Back to Smalling. Kat McGuire goes to ground to secure the hold, and that's another DC score. Smalling to McGuire. Great grab by McGuire.
And Smalling really setting up that point as well in the throw even before her assist, finding Allie at the front of the stack, Allie Wallace, and opening up the field. Good thrower, throws your receivers open.
Absolutely. And again, we've been seeing a little bit less from Kira Flores, a star DC player, getting that Jezierski matchup. Flores is always going to be able to find her opportunities, but it does seem that Jezierski has limited her touches a bit and made the DC Shadow O-line work through some other players, which they are happy to do given the wealth of experience and talent that they're bringing on their O-line, especially in the handler core. And there we can see Sammy Smalling already having a great game. 1 assist, as we just saw there, and a goal earlier in the game. Really helping a lot of the flow from DC in the midfield and advancing them towards the end zone, but also getting involved in the stat sheets.
And DC, I think with only 4 holds, means Sammy's been involved in half of O-line's points here. So she's definitely taking over with Flores a little less impactful in this game.
All right, here comes the pull from DC. Cartagena up to Krebs. And again, DC with some defenders kind of out in the lanes. Krebs finds Connerly on the near side.
DC really trapping New York, but wide open throw from Jolie Krebs. Just tears apart that junky defensive set DC's been throwing.
Oh! Corpinen sees the throw developing, jumps in there, gets that block. We've got a break chance for DC here. Sends it up to Jackie Wong, sends it over to Murphy, a little bit high. Krebs on the back end to secure the D. Sage Jezierski ripping it deep for Poyer. Oh! Can't quite pull it down. A little bit deep on the pull from Jezierski, but looking for an opportunity there to punish this DC D-line after the turn when they had their break chance. But DC, again with a break chance from their own goal line. Jesso picks up, finds Jackie Wong.
Really patient offense here from DC's D-line. They're not making the mistake they did the last possession. They're grateful for this second opportunity. Oh, looks like there's a call. And it's a timeout.
Looks like we've got a timeout from DC. Coaching staff said, we appreciate you getting us the block, but let's see if we can get a little bit organized here to capitalize on this pretty essential break chance. Only 1 minute and 3 seconds left in this first half. We're going to go and see if we can listen to the huddle.
Let's get Ali in the middle of the field going deep. If that's open, we can always throw an away shot. Okay. If not, we're going to stack Sammy and Ritz on the away side, and they can then isolate off of there, either a splash motion or another cut pattern if Ali's not open.
Do you want us on the sideline or in the middle?
I want you on that side.
Okay.
And Ali will be in the middle, so if, you'll have lane to go through it. Okay. Hey,
Here we go.
Listen for snow calls.
Okay. Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh.
Looks like Tyler Smith's got the green light to take a shot.
Yeah, sounds like DC coaching staff there setting up an option for Ali Wallace to have a lot of space in the middle and a lot of action just for Ali to have some room to work, and then we'll have some cutters, it sounds like, on the near side in front of Tyler Smith as the secondary option if New York covers up the deep shot. Have to imagine that New York is anticipating a deep shot given DC's tendency in this game to take those openings in the deep lane, and it looks like Jezierski is just sitting over the top, daring DC to look for a big over-the-top action.
Yeah, it looks like they're leaving someone, Harris right now, completely open to cover that, and Smalling's able to find her.
Great action from Smalling to find the dead space and the little poachy action. Finds Flores back in the middle of the field.
Flores shaking the Jezierski matchup, able to get him a little more involved.
Finds Wallace on the far side of the field, looking back to Sammy Smallings. Wallace sends it up the line. Oh, Tyler Smith goes to the knees to grab it. Great grab. Sends it deep into the end zone for Julia Harris.
Oh.
Julia Harris secures the grab.
Julia Harris in this game for DC.
That is a... Oh, I apologize. There's a call on the field.
Oh, no. A devastating turn of events.
A great throw from Tyler Smith to see the space for Julia Harris. And a receiver like Julia Harris, as we saw earlier, is always going to go and attack the disc with everything that she has. So never a bad person to lead out to space. Looks like it might be coming back to Ali Wallace, getting a little bit more time back on the clock here. Noting that there's only 28.5 seconds here left in the first half. And again, if time runs out while DC has possession, they will get to finish out possession until there's a turnover or they score. So it looks like it's come back to Wallace, with Jezierski drawing the Wallace matchup, which also is a great matchup for us to watch.
Looks like we're actually moving the clock to 34 seconds. So those extra 5.5s. Oh, disc is not in Ali's hands anymore.
Coming back to Tyler Smith.
So it was Wallace to Smith, Smith to Harris. So it looks like we're just one throw back.
And again, this is a big break chance here for DC. Opportunity to close out with some points. They've had a timeout, got the O-line personnel on the field. Flores with the disc on the far side, looking for a reset. Finds Tyler Smith. Back to Flores.
DC losing a lot of ground here. Really great defense from New York, forcing them into the backfield.
Up to Smalling. Smalling drops a defender with a great pump fake. Gets it up the field to Ritzman. Ritzman sends it over to the near side to Wallace.
Wallace patiently waiting for the defenders to clear. Not thrown into a poach.
And we just heard the horn in the stadium, so the time has run out. Back to Tyler Smith, over to Flores. So now DC has the last possession. New York doesn't have a chance to score. DC either can score, or if it's a turnover, that'll end the quarter. Gets it up to Smalling.
Messy off end zone, but it clears up.
Break for DC to end the half. Sammy Smalling to Tyler Smith. Again, as Ariel's been mentioning all first half, that's a great connection between the two of them, playing really well together in the backfield.
That handler movement, they're going to take advantage of the tighter matchups from New York on their downfield cutters and let their handlers go to work.
Absolutely, and just great patience there from the DC Shadow O personnel after they were happy to get them onto the field. And we can see Sammy Smalling, as we called out just 2 points ago, having a great game. It just adds another assist to the tally sheet, already accounting for a third of DC's total scores, despite only playing on the O-line. Very strong play so far from Smalling, being able to move the disc around the field and also break the mark at will in the end zone to find people like Tyler Smith.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see her total touches as well. It feels like she's working almost every other. Getting some highlights here from the first half of the game. Huge shot here from Tyler Smith. Pressburg's D, but into Julie Harris's hands.
Awesome, and yeah, we can see a lot of these deep shots that DC was taking. Again, just a great grab from Julia Harris there. But also a lot of shout outs to New York in that second quarter for really finding a way to steady the O-line, start to work through their handlers a little bit more. And we're going to be going over to a commercial break, but when we come back, we'll have an interview with the DC coach to tell us a little more about the first quarter and first half.
Hi, Lizzie Laurie here at the DC Shadow versus New York Gridlock halftime. I'm here with DC Shadow coach David Maniloff. David, going into the game, what was your strategy that allowed you to start so strong against Gridlock?
Yeah, they have some really tremendous handlers, and so going in, we wanted to make sure that their jobs were as difficult as possible, limiting the quality of touches that they had and making it hard for them to get the disc back, and I think that's led to some of those high stall count turnovers we got in the first half.
Nice. As a former Shadow player myself, I love to see the effort out there. Something I noticed is that there was pretty even stats across the board on the team. What do you think as a team allows you to have like pretty even contributions?
Yeah, there's a ton of great depth and talent in the DMV, and we are lucky to have all those people. So, yeah, really, really special. And I think that having all those great players allows us to use our depth and play everyone, and they all contribute, immensely on the field.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Good luck to Shadow in second half. I can say that as a former Shadow person.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. I'm here at the second half with Jenny De Jesus from New York Gridlock. Jenny, what are you looking to see from your team in the second half?
I think just more confidence, just more confidence. There's nothing that our team is not capable of doing. It's just there's things that we're not doing, and I think it just stems from our confidence, our mental game. So it's just that.
This is a matchup we've seen a lot of. You and I are often on the field for this. What's it like to be on the sideline? What was your message going into the game as a team?
The message going in, and even in between quarters, it was kind of just we've seen this score with DC Shadow before, flip-flop the other way around, and people come back. The game is just well within grasp, especially a 5-point game. So I don't know. It's just we've been here at this field so many times. So that's it.
Nice. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Good luck out there. Obviously, maybe not too luck, but.
I know. All right, thanks, y'all.
Oh, good.
This live broadcast of the Premier Ultimate League is brought to you by Breakmark Ultimate Apparel. Go to breakmark.com to place your next custom team order or check out the PUL Athlete collab shops. The Discraft Ultrastar is the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League. Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Premier Ultimate League. The PUL is a 501c6 nonprofit. This league has been community funded since day one, and we are so grateful for the support. We ask that you consider donating to help us continue to transform and fulfill our mission. Head to premierultimateleague.com to donate today. Thanks to Eric Fofolia, Realtor with Strong Foundations Group, for supporting today's game. Eric works with DMV area buyers and sellers, focusing on preparation and strategy so his clients can make smarter real estate decisions. Welcome back here to the second half at Carlini Field in Washington, D.C. We have the D.C. Shadow leading New York Gridlock 9-4 after a pretty hotly contested second quarter there, after D.C. stormed out to a strong lead at the first quarter. Ariel, anything you were seeing from D.C. and New York there in the second quarter that kept it so close?
Yeah, well, New York definitely cleaned up their game. They had sort of a shaky start, some turnovers that just didn't need to be turnovers. DC also played a cleaner offense. I thought that their offense looked really sharp in the second quarter, not rarely giving New York even a chance to get a break.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should note that going into this game, it looked like weather might be a bit of a concern, but kind of around the middle of the first half between the quarters, and definitely now it looks like it's lightened up a bit. Rain seems to be holding off. Doesn't look to be too much wind out there. So other than being a slight bit cold, it's some great conditions for some Frisbee. I think the second quarter may have showed some of that with the ability for teams to connect on their throws a little bit more consistently. DC is going to be coming out here on offense to start the third quarter, holding on again to their 9-4 lead after a few breaks to open up the first quarter. We'll see if the Gridlock can get any of those breaks back. They've been putting a lot more pressure on DC and been generating a few turns to challenge this DC O-line to not just go and score, but also defend if they turn the disc over.
We got Sam Harris pulling again. Again, their pulls, I think, have been really essential.
And we've got a crossover here for the New York Gridlock. I see Jolie Krebs and Abby Hecko out there, I believe, for New York. So trying to bring over some of their top players to put some extra pressure on DC and hopefully help convert a chance if they get the ball. Tyler Smith picks up after a centering pass from Smalling. Sends it back to Smalling. Finds over to Wallace, but it looks like there's a pick called coming back to Sammy Smalling, who again had a great first half, 2 assists and a goal, contributing on a third of DC's scores. Smalling taps it back in. Back to Smith over in the center of the field, looking towards this near side.
Flores apparently uncovered.
Moves it upfield to Ritzman. Ritzman gets it back to Flores. Looking at McGuire. Covered well by Krebs.
New York not giving DC the separation that they want from their undercuts. You can see the handlers looking off, some tight windows. They want some more comfortable space there.
Flores gets it back to Smalling. Smalling over on the near side of the field, looking for Ritzman, coming under. Ooh, gets it. Dzierski has to kind of pull out of a bid attempt. Ritzman has it on the near side. Dzierski, a big mark there.
Really safe play by Dzierski there. I appreciated that.
Katina Russell getting involved in an undercut. Gets it back to Smalling. Smalling finds Wallace. Looking back to Smalling, covered well by New York.
Allie not loving her reset options.
Strong mark there from Sam Harris. Flores sends it around to Wallace. Bumps it up to Tyler Smith.
DC touching both sidelines here. Really good offensive flow.
Flores finds Smalling close to the end zone line. Oh, looks to be a travel call, and we have a nice reenactment from Cassie Brown showing Smalling exactly how she infracted, and we're back in play.
With the travel calls and the disc doesn't get thrown, it is not technically a stoppage of play. So the observers didn't have to get involved there.
McGuire sends it. A tight throw to Wallace. Strong defense there on the corner from Pressburg. Helps to break up that pass intended from McGuire to Wallace. That's a turnover for DC Shadow. And now here's where you love to have Krebs and Hecko on the field for a break chance to marshal New York down the field. Krebs picking up, sends it around to Hecko. Strong defensive play there from Tyler Smith. That disc was floating and Tyler Smith went and attacked it. DC gets it back.
Oh, and that's a beautiful hold. That last possession, very clean for DC Shadow. Ritzman shaking her defender for a wide open up line. Sammy Smalling timing that cut.
And that's another stat for Sammy Smalling that puts Sammy up to 2 goals, I believe, in addition to 2 assists. That is a strong contribution for this DC O-line, really being heavily involved both with moving it up the field and then when it gets close to the end zone, finding ways to strike. Sammy Smalling, a big part there. Tough moments for New York there. Had a good opportunity with Krebs and Hecko on the field for that D-line, a chance to maybe marshal a long break opportunity, but the initial throw from Krebs pulling off a little bit wide, and Tyler Smith with a great job attacking it.
Yeah, and shout out to Pressburg's defense. I think they've...
Yeah, we're seeing here the 2 assists and the 2 goals for Sammy Smalling. Again, super involved in this DC O-line and doing a great job of attacking the front cone whenever they get anywhere close to the end zone line to contribute a lot to this offense.
And that's a dirty hold out of half for DC. Extend their lead to 10-4, and New York's back on offense.
And here we have Connerly in the middle of the field with the disc. Sends it over to Cartagena. Cartagena surveying options.
I would really like to see New York set their stack a little closer. I think that they end up with a lot of double cuts because they're so far away, which is slowing down their offensive movement.
And Hecko finds it to Lamb, who they've brought over to this O-line for a few points every now and then. Gets it up the field to Krebs. Trapped over on the far sideline. Nice leading throw to Hecko.
Hecko finds Cartagena. And there's a pick call.
And again, we've just seen 2 or 3 in a row there where New York did a great job of getting their defender kind of on their shallow hip and being able to lead their receiver out into space. And there's Lamb on the front goal line, sends it up, and there's Connerly at the front cone, using her speed and quickness to complement the quickness of Lamb. Lamb gets to this small little space here and then immediately looks up, and there's Connerly flashing past Sourbeer to get a nice, not too strong, not too difficult of a clean hold there for the New York Gridlock to keep this game within touch. But again, they're going to need this D-line from the Gridlock to start to put some more pressure on the DC Shadow. They got a turn last point. They're hoping to get another action like that this point.
Oh, we got some
We've got
some tats, some back tats.
Very exciting. And Connerly already got 2 goals and an assist this game. Playing great and showing some great spirit and attitude, having a lot of fun with the stream.
And this is the chance for the New York D-line to get a break. I always say O-lines lose games, D-lines win games. So New York's really going to rely on their D-lines here to get them back in this game.
And here's Sadie Jezierski looking to send off the pull.
And that's a great pull. New York definitely showing out with the pulls tonight. That is almost the full 80 yards of the field.
Tyler Smith catches, centers up to Flores, back to Tyler Smith. DC running some action to isolate Julia Harris. Open in deep space, but a little bit too far. Flores, open.
Great bid from Jezierski. Not quite enough to close it.
Back to Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith to Ritzman. A little bit low. Julia Harris with a diving attempt. Observer is calling it down, which I think was the correct call. We have a turnover here. Cassie Brown picks up for New York. This is a big break chance for New York. Centers it to Jezierski. We've got Flores and Jezierski matched up. A lot of fun for the viewers at home. Back to Brown on the near side here.
DC doing a good job of keeping the downfield cutters out of the picture here.
Great grab there by Malin.
Pressberg with the disc. Long undercut up there.
Van to Ryan. Finds Jezierski sliding to her knees.
Jezierski all over the ground for New York right now.
Jezierski rips it over to the far corner. Caught for a break to Nikki Hare. Jezierski to Nikki Hare for a break for the New York Gridlock. Starting to claw this one back, and that's a great opportunity there. New York showing that they only need one turn to capitalize and get a point back.
Another look at that beautiful bid from Harris. Unfortunately, the disc had already touched the ground, I think, at the time that she snagged it. And New York capitalized. They know what their job is here. They know they got to get these breaks back, and that was a beautiful find from Jezierski. She's a player who's not just looking at the first option. She's looking at the second, third, fourth option, planning ahead, and beautiful movement there from the receiver.
Absolutely. Nikki Hare finding space on the break side, drifting over, knowing with a thrower like Jezierski, who, as we can see here, 2 assists and a block, having a big game for the D-line. Once again, I think puts Jezierski to 5 total blocks only in a game and a little over a half so far this season. Playing great defense this year for the New York Gridlock. It looks like we've got a bit of a D-line crossover for this offensive point for the DC Shadow. Sam Harris rips the pull away.
That's great float time, too, on that pull.
Well said. Yeah, another great pull. Looks like it drifts out of bounds. We've got Jackie Wong picking up, Jesso also in the backfield. So this is looking like a pretty full D-line crossover point, but a lot of strong players that have played offensive points at some point for the Shadow. Immediately, Gentilette sends off deep. Jackie Wong back to Jesso.
Oh, not covered in the backfield there. They're really, New York definitely emphasizing covering the downfield space.
Jesso up to Korpinen. Sorry, Jackie Wong up to Korpinen. Back to Jesso.
Yeah, beautiful wide open cut there from
Mueller finds it over on the far side. Strong pump fakes. Try a shift to Jezierski. Gets it around to Korpinen. Great hands. Back to Murphy. Jackie Wong, middle of the field.
DC really using the break side space here, not letting it get too far onto the fore side.
Gentilette's defender is on the ground. Oh, a great layout attempt by Gentilette on a slightly far pass from Jackie Wong. Gets a hand on it, but can't pull it down. New York immediately picks it up, sending it back. Another break chance for New York. Sam Harris over with a big pump fake. Back to Pressberg. Dictating what they want from this defensive offense.
Looks like maybe there's a call.
Big opportunity here for New York to get within 3 if they can capitalize on this break chance. DC does have a lot of strong defenders on this field because they started out this point with a lot of D-line crossovers for their offensive point. So this should be an interesting matchup between 2 basically D-line sets. And a slight bobble there. Can't hold on to it.
Nearly a hand block anyway on the swing there.
Jesso pump faking, directing traffic. Korpinen comes back under to get the ball.
Korpinen being really, really vital here for DC.
Gets it up the field to Mueller. Mueller sends it to Jesso. Jesso looking at Gentilette deep, thinking about it. Resets back to Mueller. Finds Korpinen.
Oh, call. Disc's going back. Oh, poor DC. Another goal taken away from them.
Looks like it's coming all the way back to Mueller and Jezierski having a discussion. Potentially something related to some footwork.
Hoping to hear from the observer. I think it's likely no matter the call, the disc will have to come back somewhere.
Looks like we've got a contested travel. So we'll be coming back to Mueller, still trying to explain her case to Jezierski, and Jezierski not giving any ground.
Somewhat famously, the recent rule change on travels is that marks can't call the travel on throw releases because there's no way to know when the disc was released. Seems like that's the point Mueller's trying to make here. New York not being shy with their travel calls. They're not going to let DC get away with any fancy footwork.
Absolutely. Brings it back to Mueller. Still an opportunity here for DC to get a hold. Get some momentum back. Finds Murphy upfield. Back to Jesso.
Murphy, who scored the original version of this point.
Oh, looks like it's New York's Audrey Parrott on the ground after guarding Jackie Wong's upline cut. Disc is going to be coming back to Murphy for this injury call. Looks like DC taking the opportunity here to take Korpinen off and put someone else in. It looks like Sammy Smalling at the back of the stack, is when one team takes an injury, the other team has an opportunity to make a substitution as well. Murphy finds Jackie Wong.
Good patience from Murphy there not to take the tight window. Instead, wait for something more open.
Murphy taking their time with the disc. Finds Jesso open at the front of the end zone. That's a nice hold for DC, especially utilizing their D-line offensive unit to go and give that O-line a quick breather, be able to get the disc back when the offense turned it, and then punch in the score. As Ariel said, a lot of patience there from Murphy at the front of the end zone, waiting for defenders to clear out so she could find an open Jesso at the score.
And that's a really important time to not let off another break. If they'd given New York this break here, that would be 2 in a row, and that's a lot of momentum for a team. So to nip that in the bud is really important for DC to maintain their lead here.
Absolutely. And we saw a lot of swings there from the DC offense. I know you commented on earlier how well connected the DC handler core is. Interesting to see that translate not just to the normal O-line personnel, but across the entire team. Very connected in the handler space, being able to swing the disc whenever they need to. And we're going into the huddle.
Especially should look downfield longer to give time for the cutters to get open, and just let you all continue more before we get involved.
And you will get cutters back there, right? It'll happen. So like I know it's you want to get it out of your hands quickly, but like let's trust the work and trust our system, right?
And you can hear Jackie Wong and Coach Agan talking about that handler versus cutter offense and the need to give cutters a little more time. But here comes New York on offense. Hecko sends it over to Cartagena.
Looks like we have Hecko back handling, which is not her usual role. But I think they need to take advantage of her matchups here on the field and get the disc in her hands more often.
Hecko finds the speedy Poyer up on the sideline. Excuse me. Back to Cartagena. Cartagena sends it deep. Looked to be some confusion. Player stopped running and the disc just sailed over everyone's head, and looks like that's going to be a turnover. The DC defense happy to see that disc fall to the ground, especially with a potentially open cutter stopping their cut. Sour Beer picks up, sends it over to Rader. Rader looking inside. Nice toss to Diocampo.
And a great shot, but not completed.
A good upline look there to Kikuchi. But now New York has a chance. Krebs with the disc, looking to get a hold, keep this connected. Back to Cartagena.
That was a pretty
Pretty cut to start off from Abby Hecko, looked off by Krebs. I think they want to be playing a little more conservative. They know the importance of getting their holds here.
Carly and Krebs working in the backfield. You can see the shiftiness of Krebs, able to get open, launches it deep. Hecko in the end zone once again.
And that's the shot she was waiting for.
There is a big hold for New York. Once again, taking advantage of Abby Hecko's speed, able to send Hecko open in the deep space when there's a defender close, but Krebs knows that Hecko can separate very quickly with her quickness.
And Krebs arguably had an easier shot there on the backhand side, but her forehands are just so crisp. That was just such a perfect throw right over Abby Hecko's outside shoulder, and she could just walk onto it.
Krebs, such an impressive thrower to be able to get so much power on a throw with, as you can see, she's turning and spinning after receiving the disc, going the other direction, able to still get a lot of snap on it. Just speaks to her throwing prowess, and that's surprisingly Krebs' first assist of the game, despite how involved she has been in their offensive set, doing a lot of facilitating, getting other people involved, and good looking for the New York team to finally see Krebs involved in the play. You know, Coach Brittany Taylor and Dmitry Suvorov there love to see Krebs taking some action and sending some shots to Hecko there. And here comes New York. Sage Ozerski ripping it deep for the pull.
We got the DCO line back out after a couple points off.
Sammy Smalling. Smalling finds Kira Flores with a lot of space. Back to Smalling. Sends it deep to Julia Harris. Coming from the backside is Pressburg. Pressburg secures this one. Not going to let Julia get another chance on a tip ball.
That's their, fourth block of the game maybe, even if it's only the third because their one was taken away on Julia. But really a defensive force for New York here.
Absolutely, and great awareness once again coming from a different matchup and seeing the throw going up. Julia Harris had beat her defender, and Pressburg coming off of someone else to go make a play in the deep space. It looks like we have a timeout here. New York looking to get their offensive unit on the field. You can see Janine De Jesus there coaching up the O-line. She would love to be out there, but getting her prowess in the organizing space is just as beneficial in some ways for the New York team.
It's nice for us to possess your own pace, whatever feels good to half field, then listen for slower fast.
Make sure you clear for each other.
Let's split.
Hey, I gotta
you and
go.
I are the resets. Okay, guys, come on. Let's go. Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh! Gina, do you have a side you want to be on?
And you can feel the intensity there from the New York players. What are you seeing in that, Ariel?
Yeah, I mean, the coaches and Jenny De Jesus, they're echoing what I'd said earlier. They need to stop cutting each other off. And part of that's going to come from not setting up quite so far away on their cuts, but also just not letting the poachy DC defense freak them out, play their offense just like they normally would.
And here we go. Connerly with the disc. Sends it over to Cartagena. Big pump fake deep for Krebs.
Got me on that one.
Back to Connerly. Connerly sends it back to Cartagena. Here comes the real throw. Krebs still going deep over Murphy. Connects on the near sideline. Great work by Krebs to track that fading disc.
Really good switch there.
Krebs sends it deep again. Murphy in pursuit. Oh, what a grab by Poyer.
Poyer, a new pickup for New York this year, and making her presence known here in this game.
Absolutely. Coming over from the Minnesota Strike after a few seasons there. Played against her old team last week for New York, but getting back to her strong goal-scoring ways. Krebs, once again, loves to rip that forehand against a pretty in-your-face mark from Gentilette, but Krebs, no problem sending it over to space. And that is a New York break. It's a big moment for New York to get this game back within grasp. That's a 3-point game now. DC is up 11-8. New York definitely happy that they called that timeout to get their offensive unit over on the field and let them convert that point.
Yeah, we're seeing now both times the DC O-line has played, or maybe 2 of the 3 times the DC O-line has played, New York gotten a break. So looks like we have the O-line back out here for another chance. Some personnel switches, but the core is still there. Harris with the pull again for New York. They're hoping to get that second break in a row, like I was saying. 2 in a row, that's tough for a team to stop.
And here's Harris. It's trailing out the near side. Lands just out of bounds.
Not quite over the fence.
Fans love to see it get close to the action anyway.
Tyler Smith walking it up. That's going to be a short field for DC. That's not what New York wants right now.
And Ariel, you had mentioned the pulling prowess of the New York D-line. This is definitely unfortunate for them after all the great pulls they had leading up to this point, but sometimes you can fly a little too close to the sun. Tyler Smith sends it out to McGuire. A bidding attempt, but can't come down with it. That's a turnover for DC. Brown picks up on their own goal line. Gets it over to Eddie Lamb.
Lamb, again, having played,
and throws a high one to Brown. Can't come down with it. Tyler Smith quick to pick it up. Sends it across the middle. And that looks like a goal for Katina Russell. That is a Shadow rookie. That's exciting for Katina Russell. Love to see the rookies get involved. I mean, a veteran player in the community, but first year on the Shadow. Tyler Smith doing a great job getting the action started early off of that fast break opportunity.
Yeah, that's really what you, especially that close to the end zone, that's what you want to see. Take advantage of a shaken defense and just punch it in real quick. So that was the hold. Dirty it may be to once again stop New York's defensive momentum.
There you can see a shot of our wonderful fans here who braved some initial inclement weather, but now are loving to see this action. And there's Katina Russell. Had a chance to play with Katina about a year ago at a WAFC league in the DC area, and my goodness, what an incredible player. Gets her first goal of the game, but everyone in the DC area knows that Russell is a speedster and hard to stop in open space.
All right, we have a deep DC defensive line out here with a pull coming from Jackie Wong. She's practicing her pulls before the game. They were looking pretty clean.
There it is. That's a nice, got a whistle.
Uh-oh.
We will see what is happening here. It looks like DC will be going back and re-pulling.
Possibly an offsides call.
Looks like we had a clock issue here, and so that's why we're going to be coming back and just getting reset. So within a certain amount of time left, we're not starting the clock until the disc is caught by the receiving team. So the clock started too early. So the observers quickly noticing that, getting the clock reset. And again, the clock will not start until a receiving team player touches the disc.
Not sure what time we're coming in on here. The field clocks. Okay, 59.1 seconds. Here we go.
Jackie Wong again. Got a good practice pull there. Let's see if her mulligan does well. Rips another one right down the middle.
Oh, nice. And a good fade to the sideline.
There you go. Hecko sends it up to Connerly.
I'd like to see DC hustling down more on the pole, particularly when it's sitting on the sideline like that.
Back to Hecko, over to Cartagena, directing traffic with the disc.
Great defensive movement there.
Back to Hecko, who, as Ariel mentioned, has been spending a lot more time in the backfield. They've opted to send Krebs downfield a bit more. Might imagine some of that has to do with the ability to have Krebs be a thrower after receiving a big gaining yard downfield. Eddie Lamb gets a nice around up to Cartagena.
Hecko with huge separation, but a great mark from Jackie Wong to stop the deep throw coming up from Krebs.
Oh, big bid from Wong.
Great grab from Krebs too. This is a pretty exciting matchup.
Okay, looks to be some kind of contact in the reset space.
Looks like we have about 10 seconds left on the clock here.
Oh, there you can see Jackie Wong going for a big layout attempt. Krebs nonchalantly pulls it in, keeps looking upfield. We have
foul call.
Discussion here between Raider and Cartagena. Observer ruling is going to be a foul contested. So it's going to stay with the current thrower of Krebs. And we'll note that we only have about 12 seconds left here in this third quarter.
But as we've said, play will continue when the clock stops until there's a goal or a turnover. So time is down.
And we've got the disc up to Carly, back to Krebs. Finds Carly again, back to Krebs, playing a little small ball movement. Finds Waverka upfield, back to Krebs. Krebs looking every other almost for the last few throws. Finds Cartagena.
New York really needing to get this hold.
Lamb, a nice high throw over to Hecko. Pump fakes the break. Cartagena in the backfield, looking into the end zone. Not quite. Player on the end zone line. Looks upfield. Jolie Krebs gets the score. That's a big hold for for New York there to keep this game tight and to close out the third quarter. As Ariel mentioned, time had run out, but New York was more than happy to take their time, maintain that final possession, and get the score to Krebs, who has been really involved in this quarter.
Yeah, went every other for a lot of that point. Here's another look at the defensive play and grab from Krebs to maintain possession. Again, knowing that they needed this hold going into the last quarter.
Seeing shades of what made Krebs last year's 2025 PUL MVP. Just great stuff. And here we have the New York huddle. Look at the intensity on the faces as they're gearing up for the fourth quarter. Noticing we've got 2 assists and a goal for Krebs, who's really picked up the pace of play as far as getting involved in the scoring in this third quarter.
Yeah, excited to see what they can do in the last quarter. I mean, this has been a significant comeback. It was 4-10 at half, and now it's 9-12. I mean, that's a 5-2 quarter there for New York.
And here we go. We've got a great highlight package. A lot of fun action in this third quarter as New York was starting to bring it close. DC was getting some dirty holds, staying alive in the game. Still possesses a 3-point lead here, but New York definitely bringing the intensity back. And I think everyone and the fans is feeling the intensity and the pressure. And we're going to break now. We'll be back for the fourth quarter. And here we are back at the start of the fourth quarter. Romero Pena sends the pull off. New York looking for a chance to make a comeback here. Again, DC is up by 3 points. Connerly sends it over to Cartagena.
Yeah, something that makes the PUL different than standard ultimate frisbee. Deep shot, and it's reeled down.
Gentilette elevating. Oh, sends it out just too far for Driver, but an incredible deep grab from Gentilette there to elevate over multiple defenders and her own teammate, but then just misses Rebecca Driver there. So New York has a chance on their own goal line, or on the goal line there. Hecko gets it around to Cartagena. Big fake there. Towards the far side. Gentilette again!
Giving her second layout D of the game and her third D Her second just coming seconds before.
You know, that is just a huge moment for the DC Shadow as someone was tying their shoe in the backfield. But New York had really built a lot of momentum in the third quarter there, was looking to continue that into the fourth quarter. Oh, and the throw from Herrera Pena just off the hands of Mueller.
Mueller seeing Lamb come in there and tried to catch early. Couldn't quite reel it in.
Cartagena with the disc again for New York. Looks like we might have a pick call in the middle of the stack area, but big opportunities here for DC. Twice squandered on kind of tight throws after incredible blocks. New York with their third possession here of this point, looking to come out and get a hold to start the fourth quarter. Laverco with the disc on the near side. Gets it back to Krebs. Finds Cartagena.
Looks like DC's forcing middle a little bit here. New York not having a whole lot of trouble breaking out of that.
Gets it to PUL.
And we're into a single force.
And so this is a big moment here for New York. Gets it to the goal line, and wow, there's a score with emphasis. Connerly throws it down. Great assist there from, I believe, Cartagena. And in a sense, almost kind of like a little bit of a tricky little break point there for the New York team, because they did score at the end of the last possession, but were receiving the pole to start this point. Again, we'll get to see here the great block.
Yeah.
Gentilette elevating.
Just a tough one to challenge in the deep space and in the end zone. Gentilette not going to let this point end too quickly for New York.
Wow, two great blocks from Gentilette. Unfortunately, doesn't lead to DC being able to convert the break chances they had. Cartagena, with her second assist of the game, gets to the score to Connerly, and just like that, it's a 2-point game with 9 minutes and 43 seconds left. As we talked about, New York building a lot of momentum in the third quarter and towards the end of the third quarter. What does New York have to do here, Ariel, to bring this all the way back?
Oh, well, honestly, we're watching DC make a lot of mistakes, and New York just has to play more patient and play a cleaner game. Their defensive pressure is looking really good. They need to be more aware of the deep looks for sure to get those turns, but Presburg's always back there to help get that disc back.
Absolutely. And here comes the DC O-line. Flores with the disc in the middle of the field, looking to stay the ship after leaking some points to New York to start the fourth quarter and the end of the third quarter. Shot deep to Johnson. Johnson elevates, can't come down with it. Great defensive play there from Shaw. Again, rookie playing in their first game in the PUL. New York coach is very excited to get her into the mix and utilize her downfield prowess. And New York now with another break opportunity. Gets the field up, gets the disc up to Bancharayan. Bancharayan to Brown, little bit of potential contact there. Brown not appreciating the gentle contact that may have occurred there from Tyler Smith.
Yeah, that's a tricky space. We get a replay here.
Ooh,
you see Tyler's trying to pull back on the momentum, and still got an arm on Brown.
Okay, I was just running with you, and I put my arm up, and then you stopped too. So it wasn't an intentional push of any kind. We were just running together, and I agree it was a lot of contact. I wasn't bidding or trying to come through you in any way, and I know I didn't have a play on the disc. So agreed there was a lot of contact. Okay.
It has been 20 seconds, so it is time for the observers to come in. So we are going to ensure, obviously we're saying uncontested foul.
Yeah.
We are going to give a yellow card in this case. It wasn't crazy dangerous, but it was just more contact than we want to keep the game under control. So we are going to give the yellow card. And that does mean, exactly right, the 10-yard penalty. That's going to be...
Sorry if I swallowed that, but
it's going to be a halfway point between the white line and the black line, so you're right up here.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is that...
Interesting. I gotta say I don't align with the observers on that. I don't think that was a yellow card worthy play.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely hear the observers making their argument there, wanting to emphasize player safety and excessive contact potentially in that play. They're looking to stop that before it escalates any further. So New York ends up getting 10 additional yards out of it. Cassie Brown and Tyler Smith seem to have talked it out and cooled down after understandably being frustrated at the contact occurring. And now Brown has the disc on the far sideline. Tyler Smith applying a strong mark. Cassie Brown sends it deep. New York has a trio of receivers in the area. Oh, and there appears to be a call before. It looks like we've got a timeout from New York before the throw went up. So New York coaching chances not liking what they were seeing downfield, giving their personnel a chance to get some fresh legs potentially out there, get organized to try to convert this break chance, bring this game within one if they can get this break chance here.
Yeah, and another benefit to this for New York, the stall will reset, and I think that was a very high stall count when that throw went up. So they're going to be coming back in on offense with a stall of 0.
Absolutely, yeah, and we see DC bringing out some of their D-line.
Yeah, because we'll do one of us.
Okay, just come. So we'll cut off the swing.
Calm on 2, 1, 2, calm.
There we go, we see.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying. New York just needs to play calm. They are recognizing that DC is starting to play sloppy as they close in, and their offense just needs to be steady, convert on their opportunities, and not let DC get easy stuff.
Absolutely. So it looks like we're going to have Cartagena with the disc. It looks like a pretty standard offensive unit has come out for New York. We've got Krebs is the closest to the disc. Cartagena finds Krebs off the jump.
Gentlet searching for another block, but New York not going to give her the opportunity.
Connerly gives it back to Krebs. Finds Lamb coming towards the near sideline. Once again, back to Krebs. As we've been mentioning, Krebs very involved in the third quarter in the offense. Looks to be involved equally in the fourth quarter. Finds Lamb upfield. Some kind of a stoppage.
Probably a
Cartagena
pick.
has the disc.
I think she's trying to argue that her defender was not within 10 feet, but it does look like a pick call. It was a pick. All right, observer ruling, so that disc is going to go back, and Cartagena is going to go back to her defender.
And that's another exciting matchup between Korpinen and Cartagena, two very athletic players with a lot of speed, trying to match up against each other. New York gets the disc back to Connerly.
Really good defense from DC here, never giving more than a couple inches of space. So New York's having to throw into some tight windows.
Absolutely, and Lamb finds Waverka over on the far sideline. Back to Cartagena. Breaks the mark to Krebs. Krebs' defender is on the ground for the moment.
A nice leading shot. Oh, lost the mark, and that's a break for New York.
And that's
Abby Hecko reeling in her 4th goal of the game. Cartagena really taking advantage of her marks defensive effort and immediately shooting to the break side.
Absolutely, and as you had pointed out, New York being forced into some really tight windows, DC putting a lot of pressure on the throws, but New York being able to utilize that pressure and kind of go against the grain a little bit, get DC off balance and go against where their marks were looking to put pressure on, and finds Abby Hecko at the front of the end zone, and that brings it within 1 point. Cartagena with 3 assists so far this game, putting up a big stat line, trying to will New York back into this game as they've brought it back from a 4-point deficit. It's now a 1-point game.
Yeah, Cartagena last year averaging over 4 assists per game in the 5 games that she played for New York. Starting off this season with that same kind of momentum, being essential for their scoring rate. A great addition or combination with Jolie Krebs, obviously another assist leader.
Absolutely. Sage Ozerski sends the pull deep. Tyler Smith picks up, snares up to Flores.
Yeah, initial defense from New York really stops the play from DC.
Finds Ritzman on the far side. Back to Flores.
Looks like DC is somewhat hesitant in the cutting space. But a great,
Ritzman up to Smalling and just a little bit low, and Smalling can't hold on to it. Immediate deep shot from Brown to Jezierski. Goes over the top of Flores. Flores in the way to make a play.
Yeah, that was great defense. Looks like a
turnover. Flores putting her body in the way, not letting Jezierski get in there. Jezierski tried to elevate, couldn't quite hold on to it. Oh, we have a deep shot here. Looking for American University's own Lily Johnson. The crowds are going crazy.
Johnson's still open, but they're looking in the backfield. DC definitely trying to play some slower and steadier offense.
Smith to Smalling. A duo that's been working well for DC this whole game in the backfield. Gets it around to Flores.
But a big loss of yards there.
Tyler Smith gaining some yards. Smalling working upfield. Another chunk gained. Looks to the front cone. Layout attempt unsuccessful. Julia Harris, University of Virginia Hydra graduate and stalwart, with a score for DC to extend the lead to 2.
Yeah, and look again at the very good body defense. Flores maybe didn't get a hand on it, but she was in the way enough that Jezierski wasn't able to make a safe play. And then a beautiful snag from Lily Johnson. The crowd goes wild. And Julia Harris with another goal on the night.
I mean, Julia Harris knows how to find the end zone, but once again have to shout out the offensive dynamic duo of Tyler Smith and Sammy Smalling, keeping the disc moving, gaining chunks of yards for DC to set people up. Kira Flores adding a block to her tally on the night. Sammy Smalling adding an assist and saves the break in the end zone, which was a huge play to avoid letting New York tie this ball game. Instead, they're able to march it down, take a 2-point lead, put New York back in the passenger seat while DC grabs the wheel.
Pull coming out from captain Jess Sauerbier.
Here we go. We've got just under 5 minutes left. If you're just joining us, DC went out to a commanding lead in the first quarter. The second and third quarter, New York fought slowly to claw it back, and then as we started this fourth quarter, DC gave up a few breaks to New York to let them get close. New York diving grab there from Waverka. Looking for an option. Finds Cartagena. Sends a deep shot. It's trailing shallow. What an adjustment by Krebs.
A slow motion fallback to reel that one in. Probably not the throw Cartagena was looking for, but know your receiver, take the trust shots.
And opting to send Jezierski over to the O-line pays off, as what happened here, Connerly pulls it in. A diving attempt off of a floaty disc from Krebs.
Probably not the throw she wanted either, but once again, this team trusts each other. They trust their receivers. And yeah, another look at the great grabs from this point from New York.
Wow. A lot of concentration. Jezierski slicing it through a few defenders there to get to Krebs. Connerly tapping your chest here, maybe saying, that's a little bit my bad. I didn't even make that as hard as it looked. But secures the grab nonetheless, brings it back within 1 point. That's the third goal of the evening for Grace Connerly, UNC product. In addition to it, has an assist to keep New York in this game. It's a 1-point game. 4 minutes, 10 seconds left. DC's really looking to see if their O-line can just have a stress-free hold here. They haven't had a lot of those recently.
Yeah, it's going to be really essential for the O-line here to get this hold. They haven't had a clean hold in a while, and I think that, just it's less work, actually, to not have to play defense in a point for an O-line, and I think that they'll be looking to do that. They're looking off more deep shots than they've been, which I think is the right call, particularly with New York's adjustments.
Absolutely. And Jezierski sends the pole deep. Another great pole for New York, lands just inside the sideline. And notably, Jezierski was just over on that D-line, or that O-line point for New York, helping them get the hold. So Jezierski pulling some double duty here. Looks like we had some contact on a cut there from Kira Flores. Tyler Smith still holding the disc. And we're live. Gets it around to Smalling.
in a messy middle of the field, but yeah, we get McGuire finding that open space, sending over to Allie Wallace. Oh.
Back to Smalling. Great cutting from Allie Wallace to shake the strong defender and Shaw. Smalling back up field. Smalling and Smith going at it again. Some dribble handoff action.
What do you know?
Back to Tyler Smith on the far side. Smalling wheels around the defender to get to the end zone line and finds Flores.
But looks like a pick's called. Flores recognizing that. DC, you know, if the... Oh.
The disc has to be here saying stalling one.
Okay, disc has to be there saying stalling one.
Appreciate the emphatic decision there from the observer to let us know where we're at. And Smalling has the disc on the goal line, sends it up, and Flores once again.
We like to see it. Didn't work the first time. It'll work the second time.
Twice as nice. Kira Flores, another UVA graduate, in the end zone. Once again, 2-point lead here for the DC Shadow, trying to hold on to the early lead that they got it out to. And again, just the great backfield work of Smalling and Smith to be able to gain yards quickly in a chunk to set up their downfield cutters with easy opportunities to score.
Yeah, Sammy definitely having a game here tonight. 4 assists, 2 goals. That's almost half of the points that DC has. Up from her 1/3 in the first half. She's now closing in on 1/2 of their goals. Just an absolute dynamic presence here for the DC offense.
Absolutely. And the unsung hero maybe of the DC O-line at this point, Tyler Smith, really connecting everything for DC, getting the disc back when people are getting in trouble, and being able to facilitate up to Smalling, who's often giving Tyler Smith the hockey assist in a sense as Smalling finds the end zone for someone else. We've got Jackie Wong here looking to send off the pole for DC. Just under 3 minutes left.
The sideline and the crowd are yelling. They're not letting New York get a relaxing offensive possession here.
And here comes the pole. New York with most of the usual suspects. Krebs picks up, sends it up to Connerly.
A nice little chop cut there from Cartagena.
Floaty around up to Hecko. Strong mark from Gentilette. That's a fun matchup between some serious athletes. Oh, Murphy!
Amanda Beefy Beans Murphy.
Great anticipation from Murphy, seeing the cut developing, peels off of her matchup to go get the block. Murphy comes right back, gets the ball from Jackie Wong, has the disc on the far sideline.
Oh, timeout called, and I think that's a great call from DC. They know that they need this break opportunity would pretty much close the game for New York. No chance of coming back with the amount of time on the clock. I think this is the timeout call that DC needs to finish this game off.
A big awareness there, as you said, from Murphy to call that timeout, recognizing, and here we go into the huddle and see what they have to say.
Fake pump fake, 2 fills and under. Okay? Any questions?
No. Are we setting off the line?
A little bit off the line. Great.
Okay, great.
Any questions?
No.
Let's do it.
What do you want?
Let's get Ali is Dagger Cat.
Okay, great.
20 seconds.
All right, team on 2. 1, 2, team. Yeah.
No questions for the coach there. They know their job. Getting a look at the New York huddle here.
Certainly scenarios you imagine the DC offense has rehearsed multiple times, setting up in a dead disc type of scenario. Looks like Allie Wallace may be on the stage to start off as in initiating cutter. We've got Tyler Smith picking up the disc and Sammy Smalling as the immediate reset.
New York setting a few people in the deep space to help, but DC did not bite.
Rising stall count. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Hotly contested upline there. Smith to Smalling. Maybe probably a foul call, I'd imagine. Smalling is, on the ground.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of contact from Pressburg kind of coming over the shoulder of Smalling, trying to get around the body, but doesn't really successfully avoid contact there. Smalling, unfortunately, has to take an injury, kind of tapping somewhere in her lower body. Hope that Smalling is okay and hopefully able to get back on the field for DC. DC again to bring in a substitution.
Looks like maybe McGuire with the disc in her hands. Pressburg on the mark. Doesn't look like there was a penalty yardage gain there for DC. Stahl's going to be coming in on one. Raising the roof.
All right, and the clock is at 2 minutes. Again, this is a break chance for DC. DC possessing the disc here. If they get this opportunity to score and go up by 3, that could be the nail in the coffin.
Oh, great shot from Allie to Smith.
Tyler Smith gaining big yards into space. Back to Flores.
Great mark from Krebs to force huge yard lossage there.
Back to Tyler Smith on the far sideline.
Not a lot of movement from DC. Oh, and a wacky shot. That works out.
A slicing inside throw. Tyler Smith and Flores playing a little back and forth action. Up to Smith, up to Julia Harris in the end zone.
What do you know? That is a break for DC, showing that even though New York had a ton of momentum here in the second half, DC gets their first break of the half, and I mean, we'll see, but with less than a minute and a half on the clock, I think that's the nail in New York's coffin.
That is a game changer. I mean, very impressive work from Flores and Tyler Smith to realize that the New York defense was a little bit out of sorts in the handler space after a crafty inside throw from Tyler Smith and being able to get it up the field quickly in a hurry. Julia Harris being aware, staying locked in with the thrower Tyler Smith, and great hands from Harris to catch the throw out in front to secure a really big break for DC.
Yeah, and we're all checking in on Smalling here.
Wow, notably third goal of the night for Julia Harris. Adds on to an assist that she has, having a really strong stat line, playing on this new DC O-line, particularly has come in big in some moments of bringing those O-line personnel over to play and help capitalize on a break opportunity. And here's the poll from Romero Pena.
New York just at this point needing to score it quickly and get their D-line back out there. Oh.
Looks like we have a...
I imagine it was that same clock issue.
View poll once again. I think you may be right, Ariel.
Yeah.
Once again, we mentioned earlier, clock doesn't start until touched by a receiving team within the last bit of the game. Last 2 minutes of the game specifically, excuse me.
So going back to Romero Pena to pull again. But yeah, as I was saying, New York needs to get a quick hold here and then try to get their defensive lines back out there and convert as quickly as possible if they can.
Here we go. We have a minute 23. The shadow, send the pole up.
It looks like it's fading. That stays in bounds.
It's just in bounds. Center it up to Connerly. Finds Krebs all alone in the middle of the field. Not someone you want to leave open.
Can't imagine that was the plan.
Poyer with the disc. Looks back to Cartagena. Oh, a little action from Korpinen, but can't quite dislodge it.
Really good focus on Cartagena there to reel that in off of the tip.
Lamb sends it back to Cartagena. Around to Lamb.
Lamb doing a lot for New York here.
Finds Hecko on an under. Again, bit disconnected in the cutting and handling spaces for New York, really relying on their handlers to gain a lot of yards for them. Hecko has the disc again. Back to Cartagena.
New York being patient, but just an overshot. Not what they want to see at this point in the game. 24 seconds on the clock.
DC thrilled to see this. Well, I apologize, not thrilled to see an injury call, but happy to see the opportunity to have the disc here. Gets Flores onto the field. Just 22 seconds left. DC with a chance not only to break, but to slow down the game. I apologize. Looks like we're adding a little bit of time back onto the clock. We have 26 seconds left. DC's going to have the disc here. Has the full field to go with their D-line offensive unit, but Flores added in to help stabilize this unit.
And I believe new this year, the fourth quarter does not end with a buzzer beater, but it will continue to play until possession ends, either on a turn or a goal. Great high stall inside there from Romero Pena. Keep the disc alive.
Murphy gets it back to Flores. Flores finds Romero Pena in the backfield. DC just looking to wind things down with the clock. Under 10 seconds left. Finds Murphy unmarked as time is expiring. DC can hold with this final possession, but a turnover will end this game. DC has the lead, so DC has won the game. Now just playing out to add to their defensive break stats.
Yeah, last year leading in point differential. Might as well get another one. Oh, shot.
Gentillette rips it to Korpinen. Finds Korpinen in the deep space. DC not done with New York yet.
3v2.
Looking to add on. Murphy's open. Very patient offense. Back to Flores. Flores floating one to Murphy.
That's
what
one
a
more
grab.
for DC. And that's the game.
Wow, DC breaking New York in emphatic fashion to close out the game in the final possession. Final score 16-12. New York put a lot of pressure on DC at the end of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter to bring it back within one. But New York was just not able to capitalize on some of the mistakes that DC was making, and DC finally cleaned up their act on offense a bit, held onto the disc even with some riskier throws, and I think that all allowed DC to pull this one out.
Yeah, a really good effort by New York. I think that they're really grinding their teeth on their first quarter deficit there. I think that if they could take those back, they would. This game would be a lot different here in the fourth quarter. But kudos to them for trying to bring it back, and kudos to DC for closing out this game so confidently, getting their point difference back and making that a more comfortable win.
Awesome. And speaking of Gentillette, that's our player of the game. Just an incredible performance from Gentillette. We saw the jaw-dropping defensive plays from Gentillette across the board. Great plays on offense, too. Had that big huck there at the end to Korpinen, making a lot of action work for DC. Interestingly, DC and New York in different divisions, so this is the last time they'll see each other in this regular season. But knowing the prowess of these two teams, could definitely end up seeing another matchup in championship weekend coming later this year.
Yeah, New York definitely disappointed with this road loss, but I think they could still hold their heads high. They played a really excellent game tonight with short-staffed, low numbers, missing Jenny De Jesus, who will optimistically be back for them later in the season. Not a bad performance from them. I think outside of a shaky start, they really put up a good game for DC and forced DC to clean up their act and give them a good game back.
Yeah, absolutely. And something, have to say something for the home crowd advantage that DC had here. It was packed stands. Definitely could hear some New York fans, but a lot of love for the DC Shadow. We see the We Love number 31s for Lily Johnson out there. A lot of fans from presumably the American University Ultimate team, loving to see one of their own out there as a rookie doing great things, and some big plays across the board from all of the DC Shadow players.
Yeah, these fans braving the rain, braving the cold to support their team in the DC home opener. This was their first home game of the season. Not going to have another one for a few weeks, so this was a really exciting turnout, even in the weather, for a really exciting big win against a good team from New York. Getting a look at the DC huddle here. Excited about their win.
Awesome. And we will be getting a chance here in a little bit after the Shadow have their huddle. We'll be hearing from the player of the game, Ashley Gentillette, to hear about her perspective. And so that was just a great game from Gentillette, and we'll be excited to hear from her, hear about what she was seeing down the field and the action that led to some of those great plays to help secure a big win for DC against a now kind of perennial rival in New York.
And here they come down. I know the fans are looking for their high fives from the rest of the team, and we're excited to hear more from Ashley. Oh, and Ashley has gone to the high five line. So something fun that DC does is their fans will all come down to the fence and get some high fives from the team. So that's what we're looking at right now, getting their selfies. A huge sideline for DC as well. I bet we got some practice players mixed in there, getting their high fives too. They were essential. I think the sideline for DC really kept them in.
And it's time for today's Player of the Game, presented by our go-to realtor, Eric Fafolia, with Strong Foundations Group, a proud supporter of DC Shadow. And once again, that Player of the Game, Ashley Gentilette, with a great game tonight. We saw the highlight level plays, but across the board, really helping to shut down some of New York's primary options in the downfield space, and then help to lead the break off of a turnover.
And over to Lizzie Laurie. She'll be talking to Ashley, get some former teammates getting to catch up.
Hi, I'm here with Ashley Gentilette, our player of the game. Ashley, what would you say made the difference for Shadow in this game today?
I think when the game started, we came out with desired intensity to just really bring it to New York and keep the pressure up on them hard and force them into tough situations. And that's what we did last year in the semifinals against them, and we did it today. And you could see we jumped out to that early lead, and they got close there a little bit at the end, but we turned it back up, and it really worked out. So.
And you personally had a phenomenal game. I know you really pushed yourself. What was it that got you into that extra gear to get some of those blocks late in the game?
I really think just playing in front of the fans, they all come out here. It was raining and cold, and they brought this energy, and we just really fed on it. And every time you get something, you hear the crowd roar, it just feels so good. And it gives you that little boost of adrenaline. You just want to keep doing it. And then for my team too, of course, like we're in a spot where we really want to get that, so yeah.
Congratulations so much. Nice playing. Good job, Shadow.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Oh, that's great stuff to get to hear from Ashley Gentilette there, and really echo something we heard from the DC coaches before the game about the respect and love they have for their DC Shadow fans, calling out the fans as the best in the league, and just the privilege to get to play at home. They point out how they've been 2 road games so far to open the season, so having a chance to be here at home in the district at Carlini Field, lots of fans in the house. You can hear from Gentilette how much that fueled the players, but we know that Gentilette's great blocks were also fueling the fans.
Yeah, a really excellent performance on from both teams here tonight. I think 2 of the best teams in the league, as we've seen year after year, and exciting to have this matchup so early in the season. And they'll probably see each other again come Champs Weekend.
Absolutely.